Hello, Jordan. This is my attempt at a Sean Connery accent, and while I do believe yours was a lot more accurate than mine, I figured I'd give it an attempt, seeing as how it's not too terribly difficult to do. And, it occurred to me, as I watched you do that, and then your Fry and Laurie references from later on in your video, that I think it'd be interesting to see, a Fry and Laurie show given with a Sean Connery accent. Like, couldn't you just see that? Now, welcome back to Don't Be Dirty, with your host, Sean Connery. I don't know. It just occurred to me. It'd be kind of goofy. But something else which just occurred to me is that after watching your last video, it was painfully obvious to me anyway, how I completely neglected to answer your questions which you posed to me. And so I figured I'd try and take care of those now. The first question you had was something along the lines of, why does nobody robustly and profusely play classical music? And honestly, I don't really know. I'm thinking probably because it's not as popular, not as widespread, I think. But classical is one of those things you kind of have to be in the mood for, I find. I mean, I could pretty much sit down and listen to Andrea Bocelli whenever I wanted to, but for some things you kind of have to be in the mood for it, I guess. Your second question was, why do people show up so early to classes? And this I also am not sure about. In my experience, it's not just an Ames thing, it's definitely a Drake thing as well. Like, it seems like people show up really early to class, do nothing, just sit there and maybe talk to somebody next to them for a while, and then class will start up, and then about 15 minutes before class is over, they'll start packing up, and just what I would call the epitome of disrespect for the teacher, so that every now and again they literally have to scream out the door what our assignment is after us, so we can know what's going on and get our stuff turned in for the next time. But I don't know, kids just need to get their timing right. To quote Oscar Wilde, punctuality is the greatest thief of time. It's interesting you should mention that you like certain days of the week more, particularly Mondays, because you get to see my beautiful face. But I actually kind of like all the days I have pretty equally. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday all have 3 classes. Tuesday, Thursday have 2. But the classes that I have, I really enjoy. Now that I'm at a place where I can focus on a major as opposed to being forced to take a variety of different subjects or whatever, I'm actually really enjoying it because I'm taking all kinds of classes that I like and that I'm good at and stuff. So I enjoy every day that I have. I really enjoyed all the references you made in your last video to Fry and Laurie, and that just completely made my day. And even the description was, I'm pretty sure that was my status from a while ago, you thief, but when I typed out the whole of how to be gorgeous, oh my goodness, I love that. Some developments that have come up in my life. I am a pledgee for Delta Sigma Pi, so I guess I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I have my little pledge pin. And actually, it's kind of funny. I've never seen the movie Animal House, but a kid who I ran into before had seen Animal House before, and so he called me out down the hall. Is that a pledge pin on your shirt? And it was kind of funny. But and I thought I saw you wearing a pledge pin as well in your last videos. You'll have to tell me all about that. So in addition to being Delta Sig now, I am also a first-degree Knight of Columbus, which is pretty intense. In terms of music, a friend of mine got me the soundtrack for the entire Book of Mormon. I've got the soundtrack for the Moulin Rouge as of earlier today, actually, which is pretty fantastic. Regarding school, we've had a couple tests recently. I had a couple calc quizzes come back, which are ish. But, I'm happy because calc is calc, and calc is awesome, and therefore calc is awesome, so I'm pretty happy. I really like my accounting teacher in my accounting class. It's just pretty fantastic. And then, like I said before, my FYS is kind of a Bible study, and we've been talking about the book of Job so far, and I'm really, really enjoying that as well. It's pretty fantastic. And it's actually kind of fun because I'm actually in another Bible study, which is put on through the dorm, which I'm actually not in, but I'm honorary member. And they have another Bible study. And a girl who shows up there, she has actually read G.K. Chesterton, same as me, and she really enjoyed his writing style too. So I actually was referred to a new book, and she couldn't remember the exact name, but it's something like The Man They Called Thursday. And I'm definitely going to have to look that up. I think she described it as a kind of a parody of the Book of Job, so it's kind of cool. So it applies across my classes and whatnot. Unfortunately, though, that adds to the list of books that I have to read, or have chosen to read.
I'm a little ways into The Invisible Man right now. After that one is going to come, it's The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but of Sherlock Holmes. I got to read Frankenstein still. I want to do Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn eventually, so I've got a lot of work to do. I was really sad to hear that you hurt your finger. I guess it's the empathy which I have, which makes me such a beautiful person. But just that, ow. I remember having gone through something similar to that. Back in 8th grade, actually, I was playing basketball. I went up to grab a rebound, and the ball came down and just hit it and smacked it back. It got bent back and then bent forward again, so it like swelled up, and all the muscles and tendons were unhappy with me for a long while. So I know the pain you're going through. Fortunately for me, I never had to get it splinted, so unfortunately I can't feel the same way you are. But if what you said is true, and how long your finger stays splinted after your professional hand job, don't be dirty. Do not be dirty. If how long your finger stays in the splint depends only on how awesome you are, your finger will not be tied up for more than a week. I actually have a request for you now, based upon the questions that you gave me from a couple videos ago. But what I would like to ask you is, can you think of any good, like, deep philosophical questions? Like, I mean, there's examples like, you know, where comes good and evil? Do we actually have free will, or are we predetermined? You know, just something kind of like that. I've met a couple friends here at Drake who, for some reason, they're just goofy as me. So we go out every now and again on evenings from like 9 to 11 o'clock, just like that 2-hour period, and we just talk about some philosophical question. And then sometimes it's like we rant about our lives, people that annoy us, whatever, but it's actually been really interesting. So if you have any questions that you'd like to throw into the hat that we could talk about, fantastic, let me know, and I will let you know what we decide. And yeah. I apologize for how late this video got put up, but the weekend was kind of meh. Like, have you ever had one of those weekends where you're like, you feel like you're really, really, really busy all the time, but then you look back and you're like, I didn't actually do anything? I don't know. Like, I just felt like I was really, really pressed for time all the time, but then when I look back, I really only did my accounting homework and read a chapter of Job, so I didn't really do anything. But yeah, it's interesting. So let me know how your finger goes, what things develop as life goes on in college, and yeah, I can't wait to hear from you again. Later, Donner.